Jeff Bezos' wedding was so desperate, he essentially paid celebrities to come to his intimate day to help him and his new wife, Lauren Sanchez, become celebrities. But I don't think that this couple realized that the Kardashian family made this event their own by trying to hunt down any billionaires who would give them attention.
We think that one big billionaire can't rent a city for his pleasure.
Diddy's fate will be decided this week by a grand jury, but the judge is worried that one of the jury members was paid off. Specifically, juror number 25 has been concerning other members of the grand jury, and there's even more concern that COMBS may have paid them off. Orlando Bloom is trying to move on after dating Katy Perry for 8 years, and it looks like he's willing to do anything to keep away from her. Their relationship has gotten so toxic that co-parenting is out of the question. Kylie Jenner is feeling the pressure from Kris Jenner to secure an engagement ring from her boyfriend Timothy, and it looks like she doesn't have much more time until Kris Jenner pulls the plug on their relationship.
Like, I've never cried about this before, but I guess it does affect me.
Let's get into it. Let's get into Jeff Bezos' wedding. It seems like the most desperate people in the world were all called together in Venice for Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez's wedding. And speaking of desperate, it turns out that Kris Jenner actually asked Lauren Sanchez for a favor and to invite her daughters Kylie, Kendall, and Khloe to the wedding because they weren't initially invited. Now, I haven't been to too many weddings, but that seems pretty tacky to me to go and ask the bride if you can go add on 3 other people to their already really expensive wedding. Like, I think it was supposed to be like 47 million, but with the 3 sisters, it's gonna be 50. But of course, Kris Jenner has no shame, even though Khloe, Kendall, and Kylie were not invited to the wedding because Lauren does not know her. Kris actually asked Lauren during the bachelorette trip if she could bring her daughters because she wants them to go and meet some men at this party. One thing about Kris Jenner is that she's not escaping the rumors that she pimps out her daughters. The source says that Lauren barely knows Khloe, Kendall, or Kylie, and the insider adds that Kris Jenner's pretty comfortable asking people that are throwing big events to bring her entire family. This article reports, we hear, like any good mom, she was hoping her single daughters might meet rich and famous significant others, which is why she wanted them there. Which is so trashy. It's not like, oh, I wanted my daughters to come and experience the wedding of a lifetime. It's like, no, I'm gonna put these girls to work and make sure they're talking to billionaires there because all she really cares about is money. Have you ever needed to see a doctor but kept putting it off? You're too busy, it'll heal on its own, or you just don't know who to go to? We've all made excuses. That's why I use ZocDoc, a free app and website where you can search and instantly book appointments with high-quality, in-network doctors. Whether you need a dentist, therapist, a dermatologist, ZocDoc makes it easy. Stop putting off those doctor appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/Sloan to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/Sloan. ZocDoc.com/Sloan. It looks like Kris had her eye on some potential bachelors for her daughters, including Tom Brady and Orlando Bloom. Which, Kris, you are so messy because Orlando and Katie just split up. But unfortunately, it seems like Tom Brady was actually snagged up by Sydney and her Sweeneys. So no Jenner Kardashian are getting him. This comment reads that these people are truly sociopaths and would have never been heard of if O.J. Simpson didn't murder his wife and Robert Kardashian hadn't defended him. Another comment reads, nothing like throwing a $50 million wedding and the Kardashian clan insist on showing up in a mask to outshine the bride, which we all did see that Kylie Jenner was wearing an off-white dress at some of these parties, and it seemed like she shouldn't be wearing that color because typically white is for the bride, but the Kardashians, they're gonna go and try to stand up the bride. I mean, that's what they're gonna do. This comment reads, though, I thought Kylie was already in a relationship with Timothy. The lie detector revealed that was a lie. We're gonna talk a little bit more about Kylie and Timothy's relationship later in this episode, but I do have a feeling that Kris Jenner told Kylie that you know, you don't need to be in a relationship this weekend. Go and try to find yourself a billionaire, and then we'll see what happens. Because Timothy, he's great and all. He's a nice actor, but he's no billionaire. On another note, Kourtney Kardashian was not invited, and it seems like she's happy about it. People are actually praising her online for not attending the wedding. But if Kris Jenner was going to go and add Kourtney to the list, you'd have to add Travis Barker as well. And then it's just at that point, it's like you need to go and have your own wedding if you're going to invite all these people. But Kourtney took to Instagram to share photos from her past weekend. Of course, she wasn't in Venice. She was at home with her kids and hanging out with Travis Barker. And honestly, she needs to be with those kids. They are so misbehaved. Some of the worst children in Calabasas. I'm talking about these kids don't have a bedtime. They don't have a lunchtime. They don't clean up after themselves. They are the worst behaving kids out here. And I'm talking about Alabama Barker as well. Kourtney's house seems like a shit show. So you know what? I don't think she can even go away to Venice or her house is going to be burnt down. Like rain is going to go crazy. These comment reads that Kourtney's just minding her own business. Another person writes that Kourtney said, no Bezos, thank you. I have to go to the beach and eat strawberries. Another person adds, cool Kardashians say no to the Bezos wedding. And then finally, so cool to see you living your best life with the love that you deserve. Now, I don't think Kourtney is innocent skipping out on this wedding. I don't think she was invited, and I again don't think that she has the means to go, especially with all those bad kids. But it worked in her favor because this wedding got so much bad press. In addition to people being upset that Jeff is having his wedding in their city, people were also blaming Jeff Bezos for the recent conflicts in the world. And I actually did see that security had to be raised because there is war going on right now, and with all those rich people in one place, seems like a particular target people could go and hit and get rid of some powerful people.
A-listers docking in Venice for America's wedding of the year in Italy's Instagram hotspot. Does anyone object to this most exclusive of unions? You could say that. Far from rolling out the red carpet, Venetians are showing Jeff Bezos a red card.
We think that one big billionaire can't rent a city for his pleasure.
Telling Amazon boss Jeff Bezos and fiancée Lauren Sanchez their marriage money is no good here. And not just because they're taking over parts of an already oversaturated tourist town. The No Space for Bezos campaign objects to the largesse from a man who they say doesn't pay his fair share of tax.
But this comment reads, may billionaires never feel safe or at peace. And at this rate, I don't think that the Bezos couple are going to feel any peace anytime soon. I mean, granted, they are so rich, they're probably in their own bubble. So do you think any of this bad press actually affects them? Comment below. I mean, one of my videos got like 600,000 views on my main channel. Could you imagine if Lauren saw that? Would you be upset? I mean, it's all truth. Maybe they need a little, dose of reality in their life. Katie Couric actually threw shade at Lauren Sanchez. Now, I don't know if Katie is just jealous, but she writes, welcome to the 80s when big hair and conspicuous consumption ruled. Apparently, tacky is back. Now, Katie, are you jealous? Are you mad you weren't invited? Or are you actually being real? I don't know.
As iconic housewife Countess Luann would say, money can't buy you class, and honestly, for that matter, taste. Because the richest couple in the world, Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez, just got married, and this dress is hideous. Sorry, I try to normally be positive on this app. I just really think that this dress is ugly, and when you have unlimited dollars to spend on something, like, really? Also, not to mention the fact that the entire city of Venice is protesting their wedding while they're there.
These comment reads that she got it from Amazon Basics. Another person writes, vintage Shein. And then finally, Liz adds, I now see why Anna Wintour stepped down yesterday. And we're going to get into what's going on with Anna Wintour, but let's move on to our next topic. Okay, let's be honest. When's the last time you needed to see a doctor but made an excuse? I'm too busy, it'll go away. I don't know who to book with. I've used them, but with ZocDoc, you don't have to delay anymore. ZocDoc is a free app and website that makes finding a doctor simple. You can search and compare over 100,000 in-network doctors across every specialty, from mental health to urgent care, and book them instantly. No calling around, no endless forms. I've used ZocDoc and I love how you can filter by your insurance, location, specialty, and even see real reviews from verified patients. It's seriously one of the easiest ways to get real care. Appointments typically happen within 24 to 72 hours and sometimes even the same day, whether it's a weird rash, a stiff neck, or a checkup you've been putting off. ZocDoc helps you stop guessing and start healing. Stop putting off those doctor appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/Sloan to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/Sloan. ZocDoc.com/Sloan. Let's get into Diddy. This headline reads, Diddy trial verdict chaos as jury surprises judge with note 2 hours after starting deliberations. Right now, we are in the most crucial point of the Diddy trial because the jury are back in the back room. They're sitting there, they're talking about what they have heard these last few weeks and deciding whether Diddy's going to be behind bars or if he's going to walk free. And God, if he walks free, you better pray for me and my channel and my well-being. Diddy has been found guilty, not of every charge, but of some of them. It turns out he was found guilty by a federal jury on charges of transportation to engage in prostitution, but was acquitted of the most serious charges in the case that feature salacious allegations that he coerced women into encounters referred to as freak-offs. He was not found guilty on charges of racketeering conspiracy and sex trafficking, and it looks like he could face up to 10 years in prison for this. So the judge is going to have to decide what his sentence is. So in legal terms, he was found guilty for 2 of the counts put against him. I believe he had 5 different charges. So some of the more serious crimes, they did not find him guilty, but for these, he did. So the defense won 3 acquittals, saying that Sean Combs was only guilty of the Mann Act transportation of former girlfriends, like Cassie Ventura and another one who's going by Jane Doe. But he's not found guilty of running a criminal enterprise in 2 counts of sex trafficking. I'm surprised he wasn't found guilty of a criminal enterprise because he definitely used his team to go and act like one, but it looks like these 2 charges are the ones that are going to stick. So I want to hear what you guys think in the comments below. How long do you think he will be in prison for? And let me know your thoughts. Now, one of the notes that the jury gave to the judge asked them about the racketeering charges, specifically on whether one could be found guilty of distribution if the person requests they are given them drugs. So essentially, let's say Cassie said she wanted to get some MDMA, and if she asked him for that, then does he get charged with racketeering because she's wanting this drug? He's just like providing it, which sounds more like distribution of drugs. I don't know if that's related to racketeering. The other note is far more concerning because they say that we have juror number 25 and we're concerned that they cannot follow your honor's instructions. May you please intervene. So there are a bunch of jury members back there and juror number 25 is having a rough time, not getting along with anyone else back there. Now they say that problems with this jury could have been avoided because essentially the jury was not sequestered for this trial, which means that every day after they get off, they go home, they can get on their TikTok, they can watch their Sloan channel, they can watch whatever they want. And I think that there's this juror number 25 who had been consuming outside material. Maybe that's clear by the other jury members and they're not happy about it. Or what's even scarier is that maybe juror 25 has a narrative that they want to push or a job that they're supposed to do, which is to go and make sure that Diddy isn't guilty. Now, I'm not saying juror 25 is guilty of doing that, but I do want to put it out there that, Diddy's team was knocking on doors of influencers. Do you think that they couldn't go and get into contact with one jury member to go and try to persuade them? An expert said, I don't see how people are not influenced by outside factors. We live in a technology world where everyone wants their information now. I know the jury was instructed to not read anything, but I don't think that was realistic given the length of the trial. I mean, think about it. They've been in this trial for almost 2 months. Can you imagine not using TikTok or your social media or getting any kind of news, especially when Diddy's case has been some of the biggest news? Now, here's an example of what the jury members have to fill out. It's pretty simple. It's either guilty or not guilty. So hopefully it doesn't take too long for them to figure this out. Now, when it comes to Diddy's family, they are standing by his side. His daughters and his sons are attending trial along with his mother, Janice, who Janice Combs is such a freak. I remember doing a deep dive into her, and it seems like she did some freak-offs with her son. The family's united front comes on the heels of prosecutors delivering their closing arguments to the jury. One of the 18-year-old twins, who was dressed in matching white pantsuits, wiped away tears as they emerged from the courthouse. There is something so performative about Diddy's kids. I don't think that they're fully grasping what their father has been accused of, or maybe they just don't even hear it because they're so ignorant to it. But they can walk all they want from the car car to the courtroom, holding hands, trying to act like they are sad, but I do not truly believe that they have heard what these victims have gone through. This comment reads, if he was a good father to all of them, he would have never put himself in this position he's in currently. Not to mention, he would have never misbehaved like he did. Another comment reads, I wonder if Diddy would think it was okay for a guy to do the same thing to his daughters. Unfortunately, I have a feeling that Diddy has raised a bunch of mini-me's, and it looks like King Combs has actually collaborated with Kanye West for an EP. Kanye's support for Diddy has now a musical home, and it looks like Diddy's youngest son, Christian King Combs, is part of the project. Kanye executively produces the entire project and recruits his daughter, Northwest, to sing on the chorus, which I think is sick because Kim tried to protect her daughter from Diddy and to be connected with him, but Kanye could care less. He wants his daughter. I feel like this is a really hard take, but I feel like Kanye wants his children to be a victim of Diddy. Is that a really hard take? I feel like he literally is so messed up that he would put his daughter Northwest in this position. He probably would let her go do the Justin Bieber treatment and go spend time with him, which I think is sick. Honestly, I would love to hear what Northwest has to say about Jewish people, since their family has such intense takes on the entire community. I would love to hear what she has to say about them, what her father's taught her. Now in the track, People Like Me, at one point, King Combs, Diddy's son, raps, my father's a hustler. It's not my fault that your dad's poor. Well, guess what, King Combs? My dad's a great man, and it's not my fault that your dad is a perv who could potentially spend time in prison for what he had done. Let's get into Orlando Bloom and Katy Perry. It looks like Orlando Bloom is trying to wipe his hands clean of Katy Perry, which won't be easy because they share a daughter together. But after he got back from the Jeff Bezos' wedding, all the alcohol is starting to get out of his system, the hangover's getting better, he decided to make a social media post with this quote, each day is a new beginning. What we do today is what matters the most. He also writes, daily encouragement. The important thing is to take the first step. Bravely overcoming one small fear gives you the courage to take on the next. Well, what is he scared of? I mean, really, Orlando Bloom had quite the weekend, hanging out with Sydney and her Sweeneys, partying it up with all the billionaires, even though his longtime fiance and partner, Kitty, did not want him to go to this. He did it nonetheless, and it seemed like he had a great time in his little short shorts shopping around Venice.
Okay. I want pizza as well. Bufala for me, Orlando. Bufala. Yes.
Even though Orlando Bloom is living his best life, Katy Perry is going through it, and I feel bad for her. It's bad if Sloan says he feels bad for Katy, but the source claims that they got to a point where they feel like there's no going back to a healthy relationship and that it's better to live separate lives. And having a 4-year-old daughter, their daughter Daisy, at this time period must be difficult. Her mom is working on tour in all these other countries, and she's actually with her mom and probably wondering where her dad is, not knowing that when they get back to their home, and I believe Montecito, her dad may have been just moved out. The source claims that Katy's feeling a lot of pressure about her tour, and now it's been a lot for her. She's still doing great though. And I'm glad she's holding up because she is going through a lot more than just Orlando Bloom. I saw a really creepy article about a recent stalker who's been targeting Katy Perry. Katy is seeking court-ordered protection from a homeless man, a houseless man, that she claims keeps showing up to her house uninvited, which I mean, there are a lot of people who are houseless, homeless here in Los Angeles, but how are they climbing up the hills to go and get to Katy Perry's mansion? But it looks like this 43-year-old man named Ross Elliott Hedrick, which I could not find any pictures of him online, has been visiting her property several times in Santa Barbara. Katy filed a temporary restraining order on June 18th, and in her request, she's also seeking protection for Orlando Bloom, noting that her partner, who lives with her, is also at risk. Katy claims that Ross, this homeless man, visited her Santa Barbara estate multiple times in May, and she says he was arrested after the first unwanted visit, but returned a week later. Katy's security services claim that Ross actually had an aerosol can and a lighter the first time that he dropped by. So it looks like he was trying to light something on fire with a can and a flame, and on his second visit, he tossed a blanket over the security gate. The company says that Katy fears about the threat posed by Ross, and she believes that he's going to keep trying to contact her. They also included screenshots of the Ring video where they say they can see Ross on the property. And these are actually really hard to make out. It must be very, very dark, and the backyard because I have Ring cameras and they're much better quality than this. But you guys know we cover celebrity stalkers pretty often on this channel because I think it's super important to talk about and something that celebrities actually don't have enough protection around. I mean, even like Kylie and Kendall, they've had these stalkers show up to their homes, they get arrested and they get out and they come right back to the house. So there's some clear mental illness here. But Katie's been on her tour, so she's far away from her home, but she did have some issues on stage in Australia. It actually all went down this past weekend while Orlando Bloom was partying it up. Katie was inside this big metal like cage in which she got stuck to. It actually seems at one point she's like holding on for dear life. What's scary about this incident is that the sound started to cut off, the light started to cut off, and Katie was frightened, hanging in this big globe, not knowing what to do. So her team scrambled to go and get her. But this video clip I have, it's very dark. It's hard to make out because it was so dark in that room. But you guys can see they're trying to chaotically get her out. Katie was quickly ushered out and helped to safety, but fans were left shrieking, totally confused about what had happened. And you guys may have seen that Beyonce recently had an issue with something floating as well, where she's on this car and it started to like lean to the side. And I question whether these celebrities are actually safe going to these different venues, setting up these things that are hanging from the sky, because 2 mistakes in 1 week is pretty bad. Let's get into Kylie Jenner. This headline reads that Kylie Jenner draws the line by warning sisters to keep their hands off of Timothée Chalamet. She doesn't trust them. This article reports that Kylie Jenner isn't taking any chances when it comes to her relationship with Timmy. The reality star is said to be drawing the line with her famous sisters, Kendall, Khloe, and Kim. Looks like she's not too worried about Kourtney. All 3 of her gorgeous siblings are single, and Kylie is allegedly worried that they might want to make a move on Timothée, which I cannot imagine, like, Khloe making a move on Timothée. Like, she seems like a mom and he seems like a boy. Sometimes I wonder if Kylie Jenner's a little bit of too much woman for Timothée to handle, so I can't imagine him trying to take on Khloe. The source claims, though, that Kylie loves her sisters dearly, but she doesn't trust them further than she could throw them, especially now that Kendall, Kim, and Khloe are all single. Also, another note, I'm pretty sure like Kendall might swing the other way, so you're pretty good there. Out of those 3, the one you need to be worried about is Kimberly. Kylie is convinced that if they were continually allowed to be in the presence of Timothy's charisma and charm, okay, please, they would melt, and she doesn't want that. They're looking for hot guys all the time. They've been known to do this to each other before, like that time Kim was flirting with Travis Barker years ago. Well, I'm pretty sure it was more than flirting because they took a trip together, and I'm pretty sure they had hooked up. The insider reveals that Kylie's most worried about her sister Kim, see, I knew that, who she considers to be a big flirt, because Kim still flirts with Kourtney's husband Travis, and Kylie doesn't trust her big sis. Let's get into Alabama Barker. Speaking of the Jenners and the Barkers and the Kardashians, Alabama Barker has had a rough year. Dr. Phil's bad baby was pretty much able to take her down, and this headline reads that Alabama is dealing with severe health anxiety, a constant fight with her own mind. She's only 19 years old. She's the daughter of Travis Barker and Shanna Moakler, and she's supposedly dealing with severe anxiety, and they are real and scary symptoms, she explains, which I'm surprised we even know about this. Like, if you have that bad of anxiety, wouldn't you just delete your social media? She says her symptoms are real and scary: dizziness, head pressure, eye floaters, light sensitivity, and extreme fatigue. She has low iron, she can't drive, and avoid cars. Okay, all from which trust me, we understand mental health over here on this channel. Like, I have anxiety, but I can still drive. She says that she's sharing this because health anxiety is invisible, which I do get medical anxiety. I've talked about that before, where I will faint if I hear about something medical or see something or believe that I'm ill with something. But she shared this note on a bunch of pictures of her in the hospital, and it seems like it's getting pretty serious.
Anxiety and I do everything together. That sounds better than saying I do everything with anxiety, but I do everything.
Oh, it looks like she's playing The Sims, though. We love The Sims.
We wake up and go to sleep together. We think everyone hates us together. I hate us together. Anxiety and I do everything together. We're roommates. We live together. Although some days it doesn't feel much like
I actually thought that these pictures were from when she was allergic to the vape or overdosed on the vape.
living. It feels more like unease and discomfort. and struggling through conversations and wondering if you said too much or too little or the wrong thing. It doesn't feel like living. It feels
She's sure a lot of time. I feel like when you're in the hospital, aren't you? Well, okay. Well, of course, like there are different conditions and everything. She's taking pictures of every single thing. Oh, this is what gives me medical anxiety. I cannot see this type of stuff. Now, in August 2023, Alabama did open up about other health issues. There were some unflattering paparazzi pictures of her, and she claims that she had a thyroid problem and an autoimmune disease. So damn, Alabama Barker, she's going through it. Let's send some good vibes to Alabama Barker. She needs to stay out of the recording studio and focus on healing. Let's get into Anna Wintour. Anna Wintour has resigned from Vogue, and I thought that this would have happened after the Met Gala because the Met Gala was so bad this year. This article reports that fashion just lost its queen bee. Honestly, Anna, it's been time to, hang up that bob for a while and move on to something else. The 75-year-old dropped the bombshell in a staff meeting Thursday, revealing that she's on the hunt for a new head of editorial content at the Fashion Bible. Anna won't be ditching the fashion world completely. She's still sticking around as Vogue's global director and content officer, overseeing some of the heavy magazine titles like Vanity Fair, GQ, Architectural Digest, Glamour, and more, which at this point, go and move on and retire and let the next person move up. But Anna has become a pop culture fixture herself, known for her icy, no nonsense vibe, which I always read as just bad energy. Every time I see an interview of her, she just thinks she's better than now. She's someone I actually would be completely happy with never being in the presence of. Now, I had my own working conspiracy that Jeff Bezos had bought the cover of Vogue for his new wife, Lauren Sanchez, and Anna Wintour could not accept that, which is why she resigned right before that cover came out. But there are also people asking if this has anything to do with Diddy and that entire case going on.
No, because I don't think y'all understand. Anna Wintour stepping down as editor-in-chief of Vogue is like Meryl Streep stepping down from acting. That's literally like if Miranda Priestley was stepping down as editor-in-chief of Runway magazine, and they're making a Devil Wears Prada 2, so I kind of need this to be a plot point now. I don't even think there's been a fashion designer stepping down as creative director of a fashion house that's more impactful than Anna Wintour stepping down from American Vogue. Anna Wintour is leaving her baby. Wait, and I'm calling it her baby because I've only known American Vogue to be connected to Anna Wintour.
Let's get into Todd Chrisley. I think it's fascinating that Todd Chrisley has gotten out of prison and now he's opening up. I didn't think it would be this quickly after he got out, but he loves the lights and the camera and the makeup and the action. So of course he's here giving us the tea. He and his wife Julie were pardoned and released from federal custody after spending quite some time. Todd said he was angry at God, and when I went to bed that night and the lights went out, I cried myself to sleep and I said, God, why are you allowing this? I'm probably so off with the accent, but that's how he sounds in my mind. Todd said, you don't realize the things that you took for granted until you don't have it. So your freedom, your ability to go to church, your ability to go out and eat, to stay in bed, to highlight your hair, to get a spray tan, all that. Actually, this kind of reminds me of Ginny and Georgia because I love the way that Georgia speaks in that show. Comment below if you guys are watching that series on Netflix. The couple who were first indicted by a federal grand jury in 2019 had not seen each other since January 2023. A lot can change since then, and they got in trouble for not paying their taxes and some bank fraud. He says, you don't realize how much of your freedom means to you until you don't have it. Has to change you. If it doesn't change you, then you're not human. Todd and his wife still maintain their innocence, claiming that they were pretty much set up by the system and that they had never committed these crimes, which is almost worse. If you go to prison and get out on a pardon, you might as well acknowledge it and do some learning, but they're saying no, it was not us, and it could be you they're coming after next.
There are some who feel that you were convicted by a jury of your peers, that the appeal was not granted, and that you didn't serve your time.
Convicted by a jury of our peers, were we? I didn't see multimillionaires in that jury box. I didn't see people that were in the film industry in that jury box. I saw people in a heavily Democratic county.
Let's get into Chris Brown. Chris Brown is offering meet and greets for about $1,200 where you get to take a photo with him, and there was one photo that caught my attention. Chris, who has been accused of domestic violence and convicted of so many other crimes, was pictured with one of his fans around his lap and his hand around their throat, which is really like scary. Like, do you guys remember what he did to Rihanna? He beat her up. So I don't think he should be in this position ever. Plus, zoom in on his face, he looks a little bit too comfortable for my liking. So this fan posted this picture to social media, but later deleted it because it received so much backlash. She actually had to apologize, saying it was in bad taste and it was a major misjudgment, and she regrets not doing it differently. She apologized for any offense, saying it wasn't her intention. She also admitted to already struggling with her mental health and explained that the negativity she received has been overwhelming. She writes, despite removing the image on my own page due to the attention that it has received, it is obviously still going to be in circulation in the internet. Being as it is, once it's out there, it's out there. I can't turn back time or take it back. All I can do is learn from it and apologize and try to move forward. I mean, also at the same time, you have to admit that like Chris is kind of at fault here. Why is he getting so handsy with a lawyer? And also, who took the photo? Who's there? Who's his team? Because it almost like it's like they're setting him up for failure with photo shoots like this. They know it's going to go viral. Let's get into Nick Cannon. Nick Cannon is trending for all the wrong reasons because he was asked by Bobby Antoff to go and name out all of his children's names, but he forgot 2 of them. Now, Nick has maintained for a while that he could be a good dad to all of these children with all these baby mamas, but I don't believe it. Not because I don't think he wants to be a good dad, but he truly doesn't have the time to split between all of them. Clearly, he doesn't even know all of their names. Nick Cannon admits that he actually wrote a verse to help him remember all of his kids' names, but he didn't want to recite it at that moment, which it could have maybe helped him out.
Do you have so many kids?
Why do I have so many kids? I have a king complex.
You have a what?
A king complex. I was like, you know, as black men, we always be like, what's up, king?
Okay.
I'm a king. I really think I'm a king.
So you need to have, do kings have a lot of kids?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
You didn't know that? That's how they court. They enlarge
have all
their
of them?
territory. That's why.
What are their names?
You want all 12?
12 names. Go.
All right. This is where I usually get in trouble.
Why? Because you don't know all of them.
I know all of them,
Okay.
but like, all right, well, here we go. I'll label off for you. See, let's keep me honest. There's rock, roll, golden, powerful, rise, onyx, legendary, Zion, zillion, zen, and see, this is where how many?
You're missing 2.
I'm missing 2.
Now, that was a lot of hot topics. Thank you guys for tuning in to this week's Let's Get Into It podcast. I want to hear it below. Do you guys think that Diddy is going to be guilty or not guilty? What do you think of Nick Cannon forgetting his kids' names? I feel like that whole mentality of him being a king is a little bit frightening to me. Almost as frightening as Chris Brown is, but not as much. I'm so tired of talking about the BEZOS wedding. We actually covered it plenty on my main channel, and we talked about it today. But after this, I am done talking about the BEZOS. I think we did do a deep dive into him before on the channel, and he's so problematic. You guys should go watch the episode I did about Amazon and the different lawsuits and the way that this man built his fortune, because it's a problem. But that's enough of me rambling. Thank you guys for tuning in to this week's episode, and I'll see you in next week's. Bye, guys.